So in February 2025, my company sponsored my permanent residency. Yeah, I was thrilled, and I already claimed that milestone as mine even before the paperwork was even lodged. But then a test of faith began. I started feeling a deep disconnect at work. The power industry no longer felt like the right path. And my performance suffered despite my boss's incredible support. I couldn't even explain my unhappiness to them. I just felt lost. I wanted to leave the company. I hope that a trip back home to the Philippines in December would reset my mind. But it only clarified my isolation. My siblings were busy. I don't have parents anymore. And I felt like my story would have been different if they're still here. And yeah, they were busy. My friends have their own lives. And I realized that the life I once knew there had already vanished. I felt like I didn't belong anywhere. It was a lonely realization. But it led me to the truth that Australia is where I truly felt safe. Before I left, I told my sister that it might be years before I returned back to the Philippines. So my return in Australia was marked by a desperate prayer for stability. I told the Lord that I knew He was preparing me for something. But I pleaded for the security of that visa so I could finally say, I'm really at home. Well, I even found myself bargaining for a partner just to affirm myself, that you're not alone. But of course, I know that the visa is the most practical option I need. It's a constant battle. One moment, I am resting in faith, and the next, the uncertainty starts eating at me again. Every morning during my devotions, I felt that the Lord speaking to me, but I wasn't truly listening. My own desires were clouding my vision. I would read His words and believe them for a moment, only to fall back into overthinking. He was comforting me, whispering, I've got this, Amor. But I remained stubborn. It was so clear that day after day, my devotions felt like a direct map for my heart. Some of my devotions are entitled From Alone to Family. And then another is like From Insecurity to Security. And then From Worry to Peace. From Despair to Hope. He was already comforting me, but I wasn't listening to Him. During one of my devotions, I accidentally flipped to John 9, where Jesus heals a man born blind. When the disciples asked whose sin caused the blindness, Jesus replied that it wasn't about sin at all. It happened so that the works of God might be displayed in him. At first I thought that, what does this scripture has to do with me? I am not physically sick. But then a silent thought came to me. Yeah, you're not sick, but your faith is. I realized then that my spirit was in a worse state than my physical illness. Just as the man had to wait for his miracle so God could be glorified, my waiting was necessary too. I had to go through this so I could stand here today and testify to His work in my life. In the days that followed, my devotion just kept getting stronger and deeper. On February 2, my devotion was titled, God's Glory, Your Story. That day, I made a promise to God. I told Him, Lord, once my visa gets approved, I will tell my story. That's why, Pastor, when you asked me, you didn't have to ask me twice. I already said yes because I already had a commitment to God. Then on February 3, my devotion was titled, I Believe in God's Story. It was about doubting Thomas, a story we all know. But that day, the word of the Lord truly pierced my heart. The passage was John 20, verse 27, and it says, stop doubting and believe. When I read that, I cried, really cried. I cried because deep inside, I knew I was doubting His power. I was anxious. I was overthinking. I was holding on to fear. That day, I told Him, okay, Lord, I'm done. I surrender everything to You. I will stop obsessing over my PR. And if it crosses my mind again, please remove it from my thoughts. I know You will make it happen. It's just a matter of time. After my devotion, I started working again. And the Lord must have smiled and said, you know what, Amor? You're not the only one who has a sense of humor. Because at exactly 10 a.m., I received an email from my immigration agent. My visa had been approved. If there's anyone here today who feels like I did, struggling in faith because you don't have control, I want to remind you of this. Waiting is not a punishment. It is a preparation. Sometimes we think God is withholding something from us, but in reality, He is working on us. Doubt may come a lot of times. Fear may visit. Questions may arise. But we must choose to believe. When we truly surrender everything to Him, peace comes. God moves when we release control. His timing is never late. Most of the time, we are just impatient. If it's not His time, you cannot force it. And when it is His time, no one can stop it. But wait, there's more. I just wanted to really prove that He's perfect. His timing is perfect. Last Monday, I received a news that 15% of our company would be impacted by redundancy. And yes, I was one of them. Right now, I am jobless. But I am not hopeless because my faith is in Him. God knew I had been struggling in my work for a while. Deep inside, I knew it was time to go. But I kept holding on because there were so many reasons to stay. I felt Him telling me, let it go. But I kept holding back. So this time, it was as if He said, let me cut the rope for you so it will be easier. And instead of fear, instead of anger, instead of panic, I felt freedom. A peace I cannot explain. Today I stand here trusting His plans. I am surrendering everything to Him. Where He leads me, I will go. What He opens, I will walk into. What He closes, I will release. Because I know this, if He did it before, He will do it again.